ladies and gentlemen, to the official horse racing podcast and to what will hopefully be the last time you see this kind of format. Because I'm going to let you in on a big boy surprise here, John.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, other than the fact that we have a very special guest, I for one have been doing a bit of side projects, some deals on the side, some money here, money there, in order to help out the channel. I've commissioned an artist to
Oh,
uh, give ourselves a better layout, and they have given me one of the most brilliant sketches for a sort of like podcast scene. I told them like give me like some kind of professional wrestling commentator background, and I absolutely love it.
okay.
Every I
I'm
was watching the stream. Yeah, and I'm currently talking to them. Uh,
ah.
Everything's good, so amazing. Had to end stream to start new new new
No, no.
stream. It is weird, I know, but the but it's for re uploading purposes. You know, can't up, you know. And
You
anyway,
dig.
uh, I feel like I should get permission before I ask them if I can preview this whole thing, and I kind of don't want to. Anyway, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is known as the official horse racing podcast. How I like to think about it is the name makes you think of one thing, but what actually happens is it'll surprise you. Don't expect the unexpected, because here we are unexpectable and expectable at the same time. With me, as always, is your boy Johnny Drop Toehold, and I'm me. Now,
Ooh.
John, tell me, what's the plan for today?
Well, fun fact. The plan is today is we have a very, very special guest with us here because a couple of months ago we had a guy who, of course, was a member of our group, who, of course, ventured off in the world of professional wrestling. And, over the 2 year journey, he has had some ups and he's had some downs. But he looks to be on the road to recovery. Because what we have tonight is we have a guy who is letting us into his journey. But now we're going to find out, is he still on that journey or has his journey come to an end? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newly reborn and reformed, the Premier One, Brian Connors.
Yeah, come in.
Big clap.
Yeah,
Big clap.
big clap, big reveal right
Woo!
there.
Thank you. Have not practiced that whatsoever. But Brian, it is great to hear you again. How are you doing, my friend?
Yeah, we're fucking doing right now yourself, lads.
Great, great. So, what's been happening? What has been happening since we've last spoke?
Well, like you said, John, it's been simple. I've had ups and downs. They've mainly been downs because let's just say the start of the year for me did not go the best, as you're well aware. The
Indeed.
the year has started off with me sadly suffer an injury in my right knee, which did put me out on the shelf for a month, and also kind of knocked my confidence a bit in ring. But me being myself, I was just like the only thing that was on my mind is getting back fit and physical and getting back into training. Because like if there's anything now at this point with the journey I've been on is that the one thing my main focus is on nowadays is in fact professional wrestling. Nothing else come before that.
And so, you were saying that, you had from just, of course, I haven't seen the last time we were on, I'll be honest. So, I'm just kind of memorizing of what was said in my head. But what I do kind of remember is that you were balancing between names. So, obviously, you started off with the, well, I know what you started. I forget what you started off with. But your second one was Ironheart, Brian Connors, and just talk to me a bit about that. What you know? Okay. I suppose I lead it into it. So you obviously started with Ironheart, and then obviously behind the scenes, myself and yourself were having chats, and you know, at the start it looked good, and then it just didn't work out. But now, of course, you're now going by the Premier one. But just before you, I suppose, explain or answer the question about the Premier one, what didn't go right in the sense of the Ironheart gimmick? What was there that didn't click?
Basically, simply copyright, because obviously the name Ironheart, if any comic book readers that watch this, is the name of a female Iron Man from Marvel Comics. So after a while of contemplating it, I just decided that, yeah, it's kind of the best idea to kind of have my name adjacent to a comic book character, because that's all people kind of think of. So I took the chance, and I said, look, there's no point in me giving this a shot when I know that it's not going to go well. So I just decided, look, it's a name. It was on the board. I stuck it up there. I gave it a shot. It didn't work. It got erased off, and I went back to square one. But during that time period of me like constantly trying to rethink of like what suits me perfectly, what am I outside of professional wrestling? What do I do in my normal life? Well, simple. I decided I'd look back to basically my roots, to my home. And obviously with me being from Tipperary and it being obviously the, as we call it, the Premier County, I started racking my brain. I started to think I could do something with this. I could work something involving Tipperary. And after a while of contemplating it, I decided, why not go with call myself simply the Premier one? Now there was other names that were kind of contemplated. There was the Premier Lad and the Premier Gentleman or the Premier Villain. But I decided that the Premier one would suit me perfectly because, well, as you know, John, I am the only wrestler to come out of the Premier County. I
That
am
is
the
true.
only wrestler in my family
True.
that I know of. God knows who I have in my bloodline, Lord.
Oh no.
But
Everyone
basically,
very
like, but basically that's it, really. Like, the Premier one is basically what I am. It's basically just me turned up to 11. Like, I'm
Hmm.
either the person that can either have the crack with you, or I'm the person that is gonna beat you down, twist you around, make you tap, make you knocked out. Either way.
So obviously, like so you're the only, I suppose, you're the only wrestler from Tipperary to kind of break out outside. If I'm right in saying that, you know, you're the only wrestler that basically was like, I'm gonna, venture out, go out of this little circle of Tipperary, and see how you get out there. Um, So you've been with Five Factory. Five Factory Pro Wrestling, of course, is up in Dublin. It's one of I want to say uh 4 or 5 um minor promotions uh or wrestling schools or whatever you want to call it outside in Ireland. One of them, of course, is the Fight Factory Pro Wrestling. You've been with them for 2 years, and as you said, you've uh, tell us a little bit about, just I suppose to remind viewers from your story, what have you done in the last 2 years? Obviously, you've had a setback, which I know from behind the scenes. Um, but so far, how has your journey been overall? If you were to sum it up.
It's been bumpy, to put it basically, because when I first started out, I was like I was not the best mentally. I was nervous, scared, shy, anxious, all those types of words. But as time went on, and the more and more I trained, and the more and more I got used to traveling, I kind of felt myself getting a small bit better mentally, because I eventually found people I was comfortable around with because we were all under the one umbrella. We were all involved in wrestling. And like within those 2 years, I've had the utmost gratitude to cross and pads with the likes of Phil Boyd, with like the Justy, LJ Cleary, Fabio, the Saviors of Destiny, Katie Harvey, all them fine folks up in the Fight Factory. They are people that have basically took this shy, nervous, less admitted, half the times a bit dopey kid from Tipperary, and instead of like what most places would have done with me when they saw me, is just kept me on for a while, saw that like, look, this kid ain't gonna do much, and would have just sent me on my way. But I feel that like Katie Harvey and Phil Boyd, they must have seen something in me, because like I've been told by other places that, look, just this isn't for you. You should give it up. You should go find something else. But thankfully, they didn't see that, and they have given me opportunities. I've been on. I wrestled 4 shows back in last year, and now I would have been happier only wrestling one and leaving it at that. But they saw something in me that kind of lit a fire under me, to say. The fact that
Mm.
only someone outside my family have like saw something in me that no one else did, and like for that, for the two of them, I'm grateful to this day. I know, look, they might be seeing this, they might hear this, but if they do, I want to thank the two of them for giving this. You would agree with me, John? Bit stupid, dopey fool of a person a chance of following his dream. And not only that, but giving him the chance to finally break out of his shell.
Absolutely. Like, it's like I said before, I've seen you, I've known you for a long time, since probably, God, 2014, 2015,
When I first joined Gabby, when I
when you
first came
first joined.
to
So that was, when did you first start? Was it
Ah,
2012?
2012, yeah.
Yeah, so I would have known you. I've known you over 10 years, you know. And the thing is, 10 years ago, if I turned around and said to you in 10 years time that you become a professional, like, I knew you always wanted to be a wrestler. And, I always knew it was always in you, but you never let it be you, you know? Um, and I've noticed this over the year. I always said, he'd be a great wrestler, I think he'd be doing very well. Um, and like I said, when you just told me, hey, look, I want to think of being a wrestler, I was all for it. And, I'm not trying to, make this about myself. This is not what I want. But, when I first met you, I was doing backyard wrestling, and I had done for a number of years. Obviously, I retired in 2015, and what I wanted to do was kind of set the stage for people, to kind of give them what I've learned myself, that I've learned from people, and just, give them that bit of oomph. And when I saw that you were interested in wrestling, I wanted to take you, kind of like under my wing, and say, hey, look, give you the ammunition to go for it. Like, make, if you want to be a wrestler, do it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of that's how you start off. A lot of wrestlers start from scratch. They do this, they do that, and then they, what you call it, they break out. And like, to see you compete, like the fact that you wrestled, like as you say, like you wrestled one match last year, or sorry, 4 matches, but you wrestled, like you could have wrestled one match and would have been like, that's fine. But the fact that you were booked 4 matches last year, you know, that should give you the ammunition to go, I can do things here. I suppose the elephant in the room obviously is you unfortunately suffered a knee injury that definitely halted your kind of momentum. Tell me, just talk about a little about that and how did it happen and how have you been since?
It basically happened to just a freak incident, really. I twisted my body one way, my knee, I think my foot was just stuck in place, and it just went from underneath me. There was no crack, there was no break, there was no snap, there was no nothing like that. It just went. Now I
Mm.
have had it happen. It's happened to me before. I'm not going to deny it, but it has always like fixed itself like within 5-10 minutes of it happening. But
Mm.
when I tried straightening it out, I like my brain instantly went, "Oh shit, there is something really fucking wrong here." I could walk on it, but only for a short period for I'd have to stop.
Mm.
Now it didn't help that I was in Dublin when it happened.
And
But
did this happen in the ring or did this happen outside the ring?
it just happened while I was practicing, which yeah, it stung, it hurt. But look, this is just what the business is. You're gonna get hurt. Like I'm not even gonna try and I'm not even gonna be like, oh no, we're all happily safe, we're all wrapped in bubble wrap, landed in flowers. No, we will
Mm.
get hurt.
Oh
It could
yeah.
either it could either be someone accidentally hits me, or I accidentally slip, or I concuss myself, or this, that, the other thing. It is literally it happens. Shit happens, no
It
matter
does.
where you are in the world.
And
But
I relate to that very much so. Like, you know, I know what it's like to be basically, you compete in matches, you take spots and you get injured. But what you do is, you just kind of bite the bullet, take rest, and within a few weeks or whatever, you go, you know, on the road again. But obviously, it was a serious injury. Um, I don't know if it did now, but did you require surgery? Did you get it surgery for your knee? Because you did all like prior to wrestling, you always had a knee in like a knee. I wouldn't say injury, but a problem with your
yeah,
knee. Uh, did you ever get surgery for that?
I went to get X-rays when I was younger, and the doctor said they found nothing wrong with the knee, which struck me as odd. But
Yeah.
as
Well,
time went on and it kept happening, I was like, okay, something is wrong here.
yeah.
So I went to my local doctor, and he had basically told me, look, chances are it could be the tendons around your knee are weak, or they could be just gone. So I
Mm.
thought, okay, I'll just have to strengthen up my knee. So, which, to be fair, since the injury has happened, it has not happened as often. It will still sometimes just lock up just for the sake of it, but it'll always go back into place anyway. So I wouldn't really
Right.
consider it a major injury anymore. But like all I really did with it is I just rested it. Really, I just sat at home, kept my feet up, and just prayed to God it would eventually fix itself, which it did. Thank God. And it's basically I was out of action for a month, like from anything, from traveling, from training, from work, from gym work. But thankfully, was able to return, not to full in ring, but I was able to travel back up for one of the Fight Factory shows that I just kind of took a chance on. I was like, right, look, I'll go up, I see how I am. I was like contemplating when I bring up a walking stick or something like that, but I said no, I leave it at home. And when I walked into the building to help out with the show, people were actually surprised to see me, which was a surprise to me because look, I'll be straight up, I'm not really that fucking memorable. rememberable. That's a fucking word, I swear to God. Like the fact when I walked in and everyone was like, "Oh shit, you're here." I was like, "Oh shit, people care." So like that caught me off guard. I wanted to help out with setting up the ring, and one of the lads who's there, who is a doctor, who is an absolute, who was a great help. Uh, Dylan is his name. He's an absolute gentleman of a person. He basically turned to me and said, "You're not doing anything with your knee." I was like, "Fair enough." So, but yeah, look, it sucked that it happened, and since then I have been kind of building myself back up. I
Have you been
haven't
like in the
really.
training? Have you been in the gym
I've
working on
been
your
back.
knee?
I've been in the gym. Yes, I've been working on cardio at the minute to try and stop myself getting exhausted so quickly. But like my knee does feel a lot better. Like I'm a lot better mentally since it happened. And like that's all I can really say. Like it's improved. It's better than what it was. And like all it is now is just play the waiting game really.
I saw an ad pop up here, so I don't know if Isra can
I
uh,
I thought I
continue to go.
snoozed ads. What the hell?
Maybe. Well, look, if you want, we can
It's
take a
going to be
break.
reposted on YouTube, so
All right, that's fine. So, if you like, I will. If Isra, have you have any questions to ask, fire away. I don't want to make this all by myself.
I mean, out of all the, I was, as I mentioned before, I was like, I had stricken a deal with someone to do like art commissions and how the
Oh,
whole
okay. So
like,
you're doing that in the background, is it?
I've been kind of like doing that in the background. They've been like
Okay, that's fine.
contacting me while we're in the middle of this, so you may have been hearing some clickety clackety, and that's just me conversing with them, telling them that they're doing a great job, great setup, great things. Uh, they said they'll get with me next 24 hours about something nice. Not sure if we'll use that by then, but you know, John, I'll have to give you a heads up. I need you to do some green screens. But
Oh no,
out of
no problem.
all that I've been listening to, one thing that really struck out to me, John, you did backyard wrestling and stopped in 2015.
That is true. So I debuted in 2009, and I did backyard wrestling from 2009 to 2015. I went under the name Mike Graham. So I had like to destroy. So I was the Prince of Backyard Wrestling, and it was the Destroyer. And basically, I did it in my uh, grandmother's backyard for what 2009, probably what 6 years, more, less, around that, anyways. And yeah, I went through a lot of stuff. I competed in pretty bad brooding matches. I went through boards. I didn't go through ladders, but I landed on ladders. But the worst of them all is I stood on nails.
Oh
So
God,
yeah, it's
how is it that I, the friggin' voice that I am, have not had any kind of wrestling experience? I'm like built like a friggin' giant, and that's
you're pretty like
that.
like a
And
truck.
speaking of being like built, Brian, you are what would you say your you probably mentioned it, but your fighting style is kind of like a bit flippy, doing stuff. You said you got your uh, knee injury, and that was because I don't recall what you said about that, but yeah, fighting style, how that
It was just a freak accident during training. So
freak accident. Okay, so yeah, and then kind of continuing on. Uh, what did you say your fighting style was? And like how?
originally, I was gonna go with the kind of high flyer style, like the quick, fast paced action. But after a while, I just thought, like, again, look back to what I am. I'm a townie, straight up. And what's the one thing townies are known for?
Fist fights?
Bingo.
Dang.
What would suit me perfectly? And I decided, you know something? Why not just be that pure scrappy fighter? Someone who he ain't technical, but goddamn, would he do anything he could to try and get a W?
Yeah, I sometimes look in the mirror and think about what kind of wrestler I'd be. I'm built like a friggin' truck, but I don't exactly, have that workout routine. I Speaking of working out routine, I've been like chopping on a stump the past couple of week and a half. Getting that's a workout, but I think I'd be doing like big slams and power bombs and choke slams and stuff. Not really a flipper, but more like a heavy lifter. You know,
Mm, like a Mark
I
Henry Big Show.
Yeah, I probably
All
wouldn't
right.
be doing that much fist. I'm kind of there's a bit of a pacifistic side to me. I'd rather be lifting them up so I know, no harm really done on my end. It's just power, gravity, teamwork in a sense. I know I'm
Mm.
exposing the business by saying that, but you know,
It's no. It's like it's like I see I look at Brian and Brian is doing what I couldn't do. I couldn't venture out there. I just kind of said, look, I'm doing this for my own entertainment, but at the same time, Brian looked at it and went, well, I could do something with this. So I always, like I said, I always have tremendous respect for Brian because it's a tough business, but no matter what you've done in the business, whether it be behind the scenes, where for me behind the scenes or backyard wrestling or you know going out in the open and exposing yourself, well, not obviously that way, but exposing the way you want to be presented. A lot of us can relate. It's a tough business, and you're going to get hurt, you're going to get injured, but it's the way you look at it is, are you like, you could be sitting at home after a match, beat up, and you say to yourself, hey, look, am I just going to pack it in? Or are you just going to be like, I'm going to keep going, you know? And, you know, Brian is doing the very same. The way I look at it for Brian is, obviously not speaking on your behalf, but Brian is kind of like, well, I got injured, but I want to show I still can go, you know? Like you've had 4 matches last year, people have given you an opportunity. Go for it. Swing for the fences.
is there any way we can see those matches? I guess
There
that would be
is.
my next
I
question.
I don't think so.
Ah,
As
dang.
from
There,
the Fight Factory do have a YouTube channel, but it's only
there
for the review.
are videos of my matches available, but obviously because of the shows they're on, they are for private only,
Dang.
unfortunately.
Mm.
Dang.
It would be fun to have them up for public. I
I
think
I respect that. I'm not gonna show it, but yeah, I want to just see the matches, privately. You can trust me. You can trust me. I know I'm a crazy person. I'm
he
going,
is a local madman after all.
but if there's one thing I am, and that I know I am, it's that I keep something of a word. Word.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No, no,
I
no.
wouldn't. I wouldn't do anything to disrespect people unless if it's a work. You know.
I mean, yeah, like the videos are on a private channel that we have on Discord. So, and I've seen them, and I posted a few. Obviously, I've asked Brian for permission, which he's granted. And so, like I said, they're there. I've seen his matches. I'm very. I would say this. Uh, I would love to see him wrestle. Just just to be like, oh, there's my mentor. Or
Yeah, no,
sorry,
no.
no, there's my protege. Go
I
get
get that
Just
feeling,
yeah.
that this
But even
person who
just
I've
in
been
general,
like chatting with on the side is like doing something that I can't find the time to do, or it's not that easy for me to do. I have to drive all the way to
exactly.
Battle Creek. That's like 5 million miles away. Meanwhile, you're in
But sure,
friggin'
we all know you're from
Ireland.
there. That's not too bad.
You guys are like in Ireland, and then it's like, oh, the pub's down and 15-minute walk away. I
Yeah.
bet that's just my estimation that it's very, small country, everything's close. Meanwhile, I think I've seen a meme on it, and it's like you drive for 2 hours on the highway in like Europe, and the accent has changed like 5 times, and you're in like a different
Oh
country.
yeah.
And
This
meanwhile, if you like drive 2 hours on the state, uh, it's everything's the same.
yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, everything's
Um
a bit spread out. And last I checked, closest wrestling school by me is a 2 hour drive.
yeah. See, that's the thing. But who knows? Maybe, with Brian get I mean actually speaking of people who've actually got out there in the open, Brian, of course, you definitely know this person very, very well. I don't, but I've seen him. But I've seen him outside the ring, watching him compete, is Ireland's own LJ Cleary. There was just made his debut actually in Noah a couple of weeks ago. Um, from what Potato Boy was telling me, he has joined a new faction winning straight away, and I was like, God damn it, what an impactful debut! But obviously, great congratulations to LJ Cleary. Um, hope everything goes well for him. Um, but I suppose tell me a little bit about LJ Cleary. You know him personally. What's he like as a guy? What's he done to help you career wise?
Well, first off, LJ, he's a fucking top class act. Like he's the lad who's always gonna have the laugh at you. No matter if you've been there 2 months or 2 years, he will have. If he's something to have a laugh at you about, he will have a laugh at you about it.
Yeah.
And regardless, like what he's done for me, he has given me advice on what to do. I have done private training sessions with him, which I like. If there's anyone who wants to learn from someone, I would recommend training with LJ.
Hmm.
But like the one thing that I've had for a while is I've had a list of people who I like somewhere down the line I do want to step into the ring with, and LJ has always been the top of the list for me
I
because
think I
as
think that goes
as
for
I
everybody.
as I found out, me and LJ Cleary are the same age.
Yeah.
We're both 24, which fucking frightens me a little bit.
Imagine how it makes me feel. I'm older than the both of me, and I'm here sitting. Well, I'm obviously I've done my bit, but I'm here sitting here right now in a podcast while LG Cleary is out in Japan and you're out there making a name for yourself in Dublin, in Ireland. So it's a bit crazy, like. But sorry to interrupt. Continue.
But yeah, look, LJ again. He's doing wonders in Noah. Like it was amazing to see the announcement on Twitter and to be there for his last match in Ireland for the foreseeable future. So all we can do now
Yeah.
is wait to see what the future holds.
Actually, I want to speak about my time. Actually, I was with yourself and Potato Boy. We went up to the Fight Factory. We saw one of the next gen shows. And it. I will say this. Obviously I'm speaking solely from. And then again, like obviously there's a lot of people from America and whomever listens to this, and the UK as well. Um, but if you were ever in Ireland, if you're ever in Dublin, I recommend you to go to a next gen show. I mean, those shows literally obviously it's not going to be publicly broadcasted, so it's definitely you know if you want to see a next gen show, you gotta pay. I'll be honest. It's when we first went there, right? We said, okay, it'd be like 35 euros, something, because you need money to keep the place going. It was 5 euros, and we went up. Let's €5 to get in, and you've basically 2 hours of, you've 2 hours. It's basically the way I look at it. It's like your NXT, your NXT level up. It's basically it's but you gotta go there. But I went there. Very unfortunate I didn't get to see you wrestle. Well, obviously we were all disappointed that night, but nonetheless, stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Like there were guys there that wrestle. Again, as I said, I saw just two guys that I had my eye on. I have great respect for them too. They're, obviously I know Gallicini. I mean, we had a great track on the train, and when we met up. I'll never forget I'll never forget what he said. Myself and Potato Boy, we were just introducing ourselves, and he was like, "Oh, so what's your gimmick?" And he basically just comes up and goes, he basically sums it up, "I'm just a racist." And from there on, it was the best thing he said. And okay, he might have been joking with us, but we just loved it so much because basically that is his gimmick. He's basically not a knockoff Italian, but it was so funny the way he said it. And obviously another guy that I had my eye on is AJ Scraggs. I mean, he's tremendous work. A guy who obviously started in the same. Oh, he was not in the same class, but he was in the same year as yourself. Like the guy, he started from the bottom.
Same beginners bunch that came back after COVID, yeah.
Yeah, and literally, from top to bottom, like he's risen very far. I think he's taken bookings and all that. But I will say this, like, to sum up what I'm trying to say is, you know, what's a next gen show like? Like, if you were to promote a next gen show, and if you wanted to convince people to come in, which I have had people say to me, and I did, but I will say this, I would definitely recommend it. But what is like a next gen show like from your eyes?
To put it simply, is like you said, you're paying a fiver to basically get into on the ground floor of like what we do every day, what we do train every day. Like not
Yeah.
many get the chance to see it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So like for a fiver, you get a chance to see potentially the next Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion, the next OTT champion, the next Hard Knocks champion. You don't know what you're going to see there. So
Is
in
it?
fact,
Yeah.
you see it all for a fiver, 2 hours of wrestling. There ain't nothing to sneeze at. It's top quality entertainment for 2 hours. It's worth the fiver. If you're ever around Dublin, do it a favor
absolutely.
and get down there.
If you're anywhere, like if you're like I said, if you're visiting the country and you want something to do, I highly recommend to go down and go down to see their shows because like and what I love about the fan base there, like fans are great. Like literally I didn't okay, I interacted, but really what I want to do was just to sit in the chair. And I think you might have seen me for most of it because I saw you're up on top of the stairs. But I literally just want to sit down and just examine, just like not be a fan, but more so be like like I said, I've done all this before. I've seen whatever, but I've seen what these guys are doing. But I just wanted to see what just to more like concentrate on these matches. But what I love about the fan base is that, on that night, I don't think I don't think anyone made a mistake. But literally these people, like they're new, they're as we call it, they're green, they're brand new, they're just learning moves left, right, and center. But it was brilliant, and the fans. I mean, okay, if someone probably did make a mistake, nobody would boo. Like nobody, okay, they boo because the heels were there and they cheered because the good people were there. But they never booed. It was like, oh, this guy messed up, so he must be bad, and like you know, oh, who was the ring? It wasn't Phil Boyd. It was his tag team, Justin.
The ring announcer for that day was none other than Justin.
Justin. But yeah,
Justin.
He is.
just
I will say this. I'll say this confidently. He is again. We do have another. We have a main ring announcer, Colin, and he is top notch as well. But when it comes to next gens, there's no one better announcing than Justy.
oh, Justy, yeah. Justy is, but like, well, obviously minus the jokes. But like I said,
You can blame Phil for those ones.
yeah, definitely. Even Phil was referee, and he was a good referee too. Not gonna lie. But yeah, like as I said, like nobody booed, and like even the crowd, like it was the way that even Justice said it. Like he didn't have to say, "Guys, come on, like they're new, be a bit respectful." He literally was just, he didn't even have to. I think he only said it once, but it wasn't in like a mean way. It was more like, these guys are new, so give it up for them. Nobody booed, nobody disrespected anybody. Everybody literally just came in, €5. Literally, we were lining for about an hour, but we were lucky to get there because we thought, oh Jesus Christ, I'll get to that. But we got there and paid our fiver, 2 hours. It was worth every penny. And it's not like, oh, it's like when it was €5, you'd say, oh, obviously it's not going to be a great show. I've been to wrestling shows, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not disrespecting them, but do you ever hear? I'll get to a minute. But anyways, long story short, just a great show. Definitely worth going, and like I said, it's definitely there's some great talent, great young talent coming up. And some talent have already came up, as we know, like Galaccini and AJ Scraggs. The the year of the bull. How could I forget the year of the bull? Uh, CBJ or am I right? CBL from Longford. That's why I got the L. Um, like just top notch guys. Top notch guys. But have you heard of wrestling.ie? So there used to be a local talent as well. You ever hear of them?
Many years ago, yes.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still going. I really don't know. But yeah, I went to one of their shows and yeah, it wasn't pleasant viewing. But look, it's like everything. Maybe they just got us on a hot night. But you're I'll get to the main parts. There's something I want to talk to you about. It's we'll get to that in a minute. But what I want to get to is you have a show in Kildare, which is coming up. Um,
Correct.
can you give us a little bit more enlightenment of that show? Who's going to be on it? Have you a match card or anything?
It is all hush hush, my friend.
All right, so obviously nothing has been confirmed yet, but yeah, tickets are out there as well.
Tickets are on sale at this very moment. That is correct.
So if you want to
And
head on over to Kildare,
don't forget, November 10th, the beginning of Fight Factory tournament.
yes,
Crown a number one contender for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. But
that's
it
actually what
is
I was
not
going to get to next.
it is not just a one night tournament. No, sir. November 10th and December 9th. 2 nights with tournaments. With,
So yeah,
and this is the interesting part,
go on. So explain to the viewers what this tournament entails.
to put it basically, everyone has a chance to have their name drawn for that one chance, for that one shot at making history, that one shot of creating a legacy, that one shot of etching their name in stone, and a chance to become Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion. And when I mean everyone, I mean it.
So
We
you
don't
mean
know. You don't know what names could be drawn. You don't know from where they could be from, where they could be going, where they could be coming. All you can do is wait and see come November 10th what will
so
happen.
when will you get this announcement? Like when will you, you know, okay, let's just say you say everyone. So from what I'm guessing, even yourself could be included in this tournament. So how would you be notified?
All in due time, John. All in due time.
Ah, so
All shall be known soon.
all let's say all will be revealed in due
All I,
course.
all I can say is if you want to see it live, November 10th in the Fight Factory home, doors are at 6:30. The first bell is 7:15. Tickets, €20 online, €20 at the door. Bring your own beer. Get
And
yourself down for the best Friday night you could ever have in Dublin City, around everyone with the same passion as yourself.
I also obviously to disappoint a few of the kids. It's strictly over 18. Am I right in saying that?
It is an over 18s event, but don't fret,
So,
don't worry. For the mothers and fathers that have kids that are into wrestling, don't be afraid, don't be fretting, because the next gen shows this Saturday,
yes.
October 21st, is a family friendly affair for €5. That means
And
there will be no swearing, hopefully. Please. There will be fun, there will be graps, there will be bumps, strikes, everything in between. But it is strictly family friendly. And that's not all, by the way. December
oh,
17th, the week before Christmas Day, the week before
oh yes.
Christmas Eve, even, Fight Factory is bringing a Christmas family friendly show to Ballyfermot in Dublin
Oh by
itself.
God. The belly ferry, as they all say out in Dublin. But not only that, but I think you wanted to say you have a huge announcement to make in regards to a certain wrestler that you and I have seen over the years. If I'm not mistaken, there is a semester happening. Am I right?
John, my friend, you are right. Because I can't reveal it yet because it is not announced.
Oh, you absolute cock tease. Could you believe it? I had everything there, folks. I literally had him on the cusp. But the thing is, I know who it is. But, out of
John,
respect,
shall
but,
be nice, or I will.
but,
I know where you're
but,
from. Don't
but,
make me come super
but,
kick you.
but, hey man, you don't want to super kick me. You don't want to face this guy. This guy's been through a lot of hard knocks, if you know what I mean. But moral of the story, anyways, I'm retired. Give me a break, God. But anyways, what did Paul Heyman say? I'm just a mentor. Come on. But I will say this, out of respect, I will not name it. But I know who it is. You know who it is. Fight Factory know what it is, but you people don't know what it is. And out of respect, I'm not going to do it. Because I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for Fight Factory, and I have a lot of respect for yourself and the guys and the gals. So yeah, I'm going to just leave it like that. But yes, back to the tournament. This is, of course, a the last tournament. I was saying behind the scenes, the last tournament that happened in 2019 was
Eh. John,
what?
it hasn't been fully announced. Don't go giving spoilers now.
See what I mean, folks? I try. I try to give you a little bit of juicy gossip, and I can't. See, I've too much respect. I have too much
Hush, hush
respect.
now.
Tell you, I'll have to sneak in. Do you know what? I might even enter that tournament myself, just to get a bit of scoop. Just to come back here and go, hey, you know what? I'm not even on the roster, by the way. But I just be like, I'll go to Katie Hart. I'm like,
John,
hey, I'm only entering the.
there's only one person in Fight Factory that gets the scoop, and that's
Oh,
the
who's this?
scoop.
And who's the scoop?
That's
That is
White
the
Duck.
question. That is the question.
And if you don't listen to the scoop, then we might have to get the chef to cook you up a knuckle sandwich. And if
Oh
that don't
boy.
work, then I might have to send a living legend to sort you out.
You don't have to
And to
sort
those,
me out.
and to those who don't get it, I'm making myself some nice little nods to gentlemen that I have the utmost respect for. But
I I must admit, that chef guy who was actually on the show, um, how actually, because he was very good. He really was. He's a good gimmick. He literally was just a chef, and he got over very massively. How? So actually, here's what I want to know. Obviously, a lot of people don't know who wrestled on that card, but I do. I've seen a few guys. There was a clown. I think there was no, not Doink. Um, there was a clown guy. There was a chef. There was mixed martial artist. You know, everything was pretty. It was pretty good. But all the people that wrestled the day. This is sorry for me only. But how have they gone on? Have they, you know, how have they kept going? Have some of them left? Have some of them?
they have all still been involved in wrestling. With one of them has recently become a champion, and that person being Boots Murphy, who went on
Yes.
recently at Hard Knocks' 1 year anniversary, defeats Butch Armstrong to become the first ever All Ireland champion.
Who's Murphy? I'm trying to think. Is that the guy who was in like the overalls? The no, nope. Okay, I'm trying to think who it was, but yes, that's another. Actually, speaking of Hard Knocks, you obviously were. I thought you did, but you almost had your dip toed in Hard Knocks. For anyone that doesn't know, Hard Knocks is in Limerick. They do a load of shows in Dolan's Warehouse. Um, Sammy D, who is the OTT champion, is also their world champion as well. Uh, but they also have a new championship. You're saying it's called the, as you just said there a second ago, the Hard Knocks, the HKPW All Ireland Championship. So what does that championship uh like? What's the meaning behind that? Is that like just a mid card title, or is there a
Basically, it covers all of Ireland. So you could be from Munster, Leinster, not Ulster. It does not matter.
so it's basically pretty much all Ireland. This is sum it up. It's like, but is it only defended in Ireland, or can it be defended, say, in like the UK, other place, or is it just defended in Ireland?
We wait and see.
Who knows? Maybe you never know. You could get a crack at it yourself. You just don't know.
But if I may interject, John,
Yeah.
because I don't know how much longer we're going to be running this interview for, so I just want to get this out of the way. This isn't the Premier one speaking. This is the man behind the name. And I want to send out a message.
Okay.
For most of my life, I spent my years in absolute solidarity. On my own, barely interact with anybody. I was a nervous, shy, anxious, scared kid. I doubt myself for many years. I was like upset myself for many years. I didn't think I had many friends. I didn't have a job. I was doing poor in school. Like I found myself in a really, really dark place until when I left school, I went on to the dole, I got a job, and I started to follow a dream. And I've been living that dream for the past 2 years. So all I would say is this: no matter what you're going through, no matter how you're doing in school, no matter how you're doing in life outside, do not let that drag you back. Let that push you forward to do what you want to do. Don't let yourself get held down by other people's opinions. If you want to go be a wrestler, go be a wrestler. If you want to go be an actor, go be an actor. If you want to be a musician, and so on and so forth. Do not let others put you down. And if they even think of insulting you, you take the insult that they give you and you let it push you forward to do what you want to do. So just remember, don't let yourself get beaten down by some ignorant asshole. Take whatever the ignorant asshole says, hold on to it, and when the time is right, shove it back into their face and say to them, you can't do jack shit to hurt me anymore. Because the things you did to hurt me before only pushed me to be fucking better than I am.
I think
Beautiful.
that's a good point. I think that's a valid statement. Um, that's the thing, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat in saying this, but I have seen you at your worst. You know, I've seen what you've went through. Um, but I believe that you come out the better man. You've proved a lot of people wrong. When people said you won't be this and you won't be that, you're proving them wrong. And it comes back to the time when I first met you and got to know you. You know, you always said to me during those talks in school that you always wanted to be a wrestler. And, people was probably like, yeah, sure, a wrestler, and you can agree, wrestling in our school, in our secondary school, wasn't heavily talked, if not everything. I remember when I first met Potato Boy, he turned around and said to me, like, yeah, you like wrestling. And literally, that was about 10 years as well, if not 2013. So literally just 10 years. So yeah, you know, it just started from there. And then we've gone into wrestling, and the rest is your thing. It's like everything, you came to myself, you know, we got to know each other. You liked wrestling, and I liked wrestling, and we headed from there. Same with myself, and like I said, and I even include ISO here. If I hadn't met Potato Boy, I would have never met ISO. I'd never be doing this. So, it's like everything. Wrestling is a universal thing.
This
You
all
know,
started because I did horse racing on a Napoleonic Wars simulator.
there you go. And then it just like, for anyone that thinks, oh yeah, why what's like, I remember one person said, where's the horse racing in this? And literally we just went, there is none. But the thing stuck. The podcast stuck. But we just talk about everything and anything, and
I got the idea to call it the official horse racing podcast because of, Critical made the official podcast, and he said, oh,
oh
you should have
yes,
called it the official Minecraft podcast. And then
moist.
I'm just like, nah, official horse racing podcast. What, we talk about horse racing podcast? Nah. And the funny thing is that I went to look at a horse race. They friggin' wear luchador masks. The horses wear luchador masks, man. You love
See,
it when you
there's
see
a
it.
bit of wrestling in it. Horses and a bit of wrestling. But
The
yeah,
man.
no, it's true. You know,
Horse
and
racing is a work.
it's all a bunch of money. But no, like you said there a point there, Brian, that your self confidence was lacking. You lacked a lot of self confidence. You know, I'll just speak about myself in a few minutes. But before I do, you know, you say you've lacked confidence, but how are you now? Obviously, from the sounds of it, you're like you said, you're living your dreams, so you must be fine. But like, I suppose really, it's a thing that we don't talk about an awful lot is mental health. Um, how are you mentally? You know, like, are you mentally okay when you're say, you've reached, like, okay, you haven't reached the pinnacle of your career. You're just starting off, but you're 2 years into it. You know, have you been, or should I say a year? But I should say a year. But it feels like 2 years. Uh, but how are you like mentally now in regards to like where you are in wrestling?
Mentally in wrestling and in life, I'm good. I will have those moments of like self doubt, but look, I'm always gonna have that. That's never gonna go away. But realistically, like I'm happy.
Mm.
Like I get to do what I love. I have a
And
job that pays what I do. I do
yeah,
what I love.
and I'm happy for you because, like I said, I've seen you in your bad times. I've seen you in your good times. So to know that there's something out there that makes you happy and that you have something to basically get up in the morning to, whether that be wrestling or that just goes for anything. Like the fact that you know, like we all can get up in the morning, whatever we have, whether it be jobs or whatever, if we have one or if we don't. The fact is that you have something to get up and go, oh well, I can do this tomorrow.
And
That's the
I
best
gotta
thing.
and I gotta say, very inspirational. Um, I've I've got a Bluetooth headset, so you may have just like heard a couple noises. While I'm listening to your story, I felt like very inspired to better myself. So I've just been like doing some curls on a 30-pound dumbbell and doing some push-ups while listening to your
There you
very
go.
inspiring story, Brian. Very really got me thinking about bettering myself. You know, to have that kind of real life inspiration to just like do what you want to do. Don't let the thoughts bring you down. Just do it. You'll get all the. It's not about the love and adoration. It's about doing what you want. You know. Sorry, I kind of just did. I'm not a big. I don't exercise that often. Most I do is chop down a thing, but now I'm
But yeah,
thinking
but
about getting an exercise regimen.
there you go. Like, if you even go to a gym or local gym or just working out, just for your own positive mind. Um, you know, there's people out there uh that that does great. Actually, I'm gonna give this guy a shout out. Obviously, ISOR doesn't know who he is, but you might have heard of him, Brian. His name is Jason Murphy. He was in the Abbey with us, or not with us, but he was in. I think he could have been the same year as yourself. I could be wrong. I
Buddy
think it's Jason
Murphy?
Murphy. No, I think it's Jason Murphy. I can't think of his name. But anyways, he's on Instagram. But this guy literally, I mean, this guy, he is an inspiration. Now, okay, whatever you say, whatever. But this guy literally, you know, he telling himself this guy was toxic. He negative thoughts, negative minds, and literally, over the years, just done. Uh, I think it was just like a couple of months. Literally, just did a whole 360, and now he does an awful lot of, you know, working out. He does a lot of uh, healing. You know, um, uh, Let's see if I can get him on Instagram there, just so I have his name. But basically, he, like I said, he turned his whole life around. He's now, how do you even say it? He's now he's thoughtful, positive mind, just all that. He's, like I said, he's completely turned his whole life around, and it's fantastic to know that there is ways of go like there's ways of there's good things and bad things, and like I said before, if you're ever in a dark place and you feel like things are not going your way, um then you know talk to somebody, or even just go out there and try to make yourself a better person. uh yeah, he calls himself the Greek healer, but his name is Jason. I don't know, it could be trying to get his, yeah. So basically, he's living in Bali at the moment, but he helps make mental breakthroughs. He talks about taking your physique to a next level, think different, live different. He has a morning, win the day with this productive morning routine. What he does is an intense work, an intense exercise, meditation, grounding, reading, and you know he takes a lot of the air. He's actually living in Indonesia at the moment, which is fantastic for him. I'm delighted for him because I met him. I met him a couple of times at work, and he'd always said that he was doing good and doing this. But just as a quote, I'm going to say, before I just ask a few more questions with Brian there. But he has this one here. It says, "Life is a video game. In order to get given the next level by the higher power, we must continuously pass the level we are currently at. A game only gives a player what they are ready for." And that's what it is, Like, for you to better yourself, you have to make these steps, you know? And I've, I've worked with people, I can't say work with people, but I've known people who have been, you know, haven't had the best of minds. There's people that I had close that were either friends and all that, you know, suicide thoughts and all this. And it's great to know that they're all having a positive mindset. Um, but sorry there, Brian, but you made a good point there. If I just want to get back to it, you made a good point there about self confidence. And it reminded me of myself because I've had offers to have matches after like a couple of like a year or so. I was I some people say, "Hey, you want to have a match, or do you want to organize something?" Um, but I was very self doubting. Like I was even thinking of having. I think actually we were actually thinking of getting yourself involved in it, but it never manifested. But it was just to have like a match at my old stomping grounds where I used to do my backyard. But it's just I lacked that self confidence of like, can I really do this again? Like I said, I retired in 2015. Could I do this again? And there were times where I was like, I can't. Obviously there's other reasons to do it can't happen, but one of them was definitely self confidence. You know, um, and it's something that it's like, oof. Like, how do you say to yourself? How do you try to break that stigma and go? Do you okay? I'll just say sum up. Do you just say to yourself, "Fuck it, I'm just going to show up. I'm going to train, and I'm going to see if I can get booked," or do you just go, "Yeah,
Like I want to wrestle, but I understand. Look, there are going to be others before me. That's fine. That just gives me more reason to go.
But do you
But like,
think? Sorry, go
in
on.
case like get, in case like getting like, how do you get your self confidence? Simple. It's really simple. You literally just have to like any negative thoughts. You use that to fuel you. You use that to push you forward. You don't let it consume you. Because if you let it consume you, you're going to go to a dark place. And that dark place will get darker and darker and darker as time goes on. So all you've got to do, take all self-doubt, take every negative thought and turn it into a positive. That's basically all I can say about it.
Mm. And it's funny too because you say obviously you've lacked self confidence, but you've overgrown that. I was the same, but now I'm just like, hey, look, I'm retired. Just you know, I'm at the stage now where I'm just like, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I've I've made my career in my own right. I've done what I've had to do. I don't see myself coming out of retirement, you know, just for the sake of it. Um, Unlike Shawn Michaels. Um, you know, but but the point is, what really fascinates me as well is, we're all here. We all obviously suffered from self confidence. Some of us are still trying to find it. Some of us have, just sweat. Fuck it. Who cares? I've done my best. And some people have, I've done well. I'm not trying to say we're all different, but what does really surprise me is it takes me back to, it's not just us. There's two people in mind that I always, you always say that we're lacking confidence. There's two people that spring to mind to me that basically goes, wow, even they suffered lack confidence. The first person I'm going to talk, obviously, right, we get him. He's a controversial wrestler, but at the end of the day, arguably, if not the greatest wrestlers of all time, in Ric Flair. And Ric Flair had a match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania 18 or X8 in 2002. And when the offer was given to him, Ric Flair suffered very bad uh, self confidence because obviously he hadn't wrestled big matches. It was at a big stage, and it was against The Undertaker. And The Undertaker basically said to him, pop the fuck on. Like, you're Ric Flair. Like, you are a 16-time world champion. You've you've wrestled all over the world. You've wrestled in countries. Hell, you wrestled in North Korea. And you're Ric Flair, and you come here and you tell me that you've lacked confidence. He says, you're Ric Flair, damn it. I wanted to face the Ric Flair at WrestleMania. And arguably, The Undertaker, Ric Flair says it probably saved his career. I'd say if he didn't wrestle him, he probably wouldn't have wrestled, unfortunately, to this day. I mean, the sucks he wants to wrestle again, but hey, that's another story. But on the flip side of it, you look at it too, the same man that told Ric Flair that he lacked self-confidence and he got him over, basically all the way in 2015, he came back after a year and he lacked self-confidence. And the very man that came to him and basically told him what he told Ric Flair was Triple H. He says, you're the fucking Undertaker. You're the Undertaker. You're a legend. Arguably, and still is, my favorite wrestler of all time. Since the minute I first saw him make his entrance in in Armageddon 2005, I instantly went, that's who I like. Just eat everything. But that guy had lacked confidence. And Triple H came to him and basically said, you're the fucking Undertaker. You show, You have nothing to be afraid of. You're the Undertaker. What are people going to say? Okay, right, his matches weren't great at the time, but at the end of the day, we all looked when, bro, it's the Undertaker. He can afford to have this match. He's not, but he went out and he put on a hell of a match, and he got the victory. So, I suppose I could speak for all of us and say, it's pretty like it's not just us that suffer from self-confidence, and even if I speak to yourself, Brian, because you're obviously way ahead of us in the business, but you can look at that story and go, it's not just me that has self-confidence. You could even look at that as motivation. And I'm sure you've heard the stories about that before, but I will say this to follow up on that statement. Have you looked at, documentaries of Ric Flair saying that, he has self-confidence and he obviously, went on to win titles and compete in matches as well as The Undertaker? Do you look at that and go, well, if Ric Flair and The Undertaker, two of the greatest wrestlers of all time, can have that, surely to Jesus, and survive it, surely to God, it's okay for me to do that and basically go, yeah, I can do that too. Great answer. Thanks, Lance.
That's you.
I was just trying to get it to, like you saying it there, the whole thing with self-confidence. Like, I'm still amazed at where I'm at. Past me if I tried this when I was 18, probably wouldn't have continued. I probably would have stopped.
Mm.
But, like, look, again, if you're dealing with shit, like, I'll say this much, because it doesn't get much attention. If you're someone like me or John, or Isor, and you're dealing with mental health problems, don't listen to bullshit like, oh, we shouldn't talk about it because it's not manly. Fuck that.
Mm.
Fuck that noise.
I just will say this though, and I'm not trying to cut myself out. I have never dealt with mental health issues, but I will say this: I did lack a bit of confidence and a bit of, like I said, confidence and respect for myself. Whether that could be mental health, I don't know what it is, but it could be. But to me, I've never had. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue on.
Like, if you're a man dealing with mental health, do yourself a favor, get help. Ask for help. Confide in
Absolutely.
friends. Confide in family. Don't listen to this bullshit on social media like, oh, men don't have mental health. They just acted up just for sympathy. We fucking do deal with mental health problems. I've dealt with them. People have dealt with them. People have died from. People have lost sons, have lost fucking fathers to them. Because people say it's not manly to talk about it, this, that, or the other thing. See a doctor. See a therapist. And to those of you that doubt men's mental health, those of you that think, oh, it's just an act that's put on, do yourself a favor. If you've got a son, check on him. If you've got a brother, check on him. If you've got a friend, check on him. Because you never know. You can make one joke at them. That could be a night, that could all be a text. That one joke, and that's that.
Um.
So go out and get help.
Mm.
Don't listen to the bullshit on social media.
It reminds me too. I won't say the person's name out of confidentiality, but I will say this: I know someone very well who obviously had experienced suicide thoughts, and they like one night the person was upset and we spoke, but you know, I was just giving her all. I was just giving this person all the advice and whatnot. But their mom came in and basically, you know, basically said this word. It is these couple of words, and they'll stick with me forever. And if they're watching it, they probably know who they are. But the person said, you know, they said the person's name. They said, "Nice, whomever. I love you. See you in the morning." And it was those words that literally said to me, that is the reason why you have, that is the reason why you should be here. Because the way I look at it, I've said this to people. Just for example, say you're dealing with suicide thoughts at this moment, or if anyone here listening is dealing with suicide thoughts at this moment, okay? You do something that you later regret, okay? Your your troubles are gone, your pain is gone, your you're at rest. But what you don't realize, and again, like I said, don't take this as it's your fault. It's not your fault. It's what's your brain. It's the demons in your brain that are controlling you and basically saying to you, it's time to go. But you have to train your brain. And I want everyone to listen to this very carefully. What I'm going to say. You put yourself in your family shoes, your friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever. You put your pain. Your pain is gone. Your pain is, you're at rest. But your pain, your suffering has transformed from your soul, your body, your mind into your parents' minds, into your friends' minds. And the first thing that people will say, especially your parents, the first thing, I guarantee you, the first thing they'll say is, why didn't he or she talk to me? And you could be 5 meters away, 5 inches away, or 500 miles away. If you hear of someone dying out of suicide, the first thing they'll say is, why didn't he say anything to me? I could have helped them. I didn't know what was going on. And then the shock, the horror, the disbelief then turns to raising questions and you're mad, but you're not mad at them. Some people are. Some people might say, why did you do it? How could you do it? But then there'll be other people that will say, why didn't they ask me? Why didn't they say it to me? And your pain, as I said, transforms to them. But instead of looking, just to take a little step back from yourself and just say to yourself, what would my parents think? What would my friends think? What would my coaches think? My trainers, people who I worked with, people who I wrestled with, you know? I mean, it, it baffles people to turn around and say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should turn around and say to myself, I don't, as much pain and suffering and anger and frustration that I have, I can't let that spread. Because my suffering shouldn't transform to their suffering. Because they're suffering right now. They're sad, confused. But the one thing that they do know is that whether if it's a son, whether if it's a daughter, a mother, father, whomever, they know that they're not going to come through that door. That you're not going to be able to ever see them again. Sorry about that. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They you just have to put yourself in other people's shoes. So as I say again, if there's anyone listening here right now, if you have something, if it's anything at all, whether it be just if it's something small that's niggling at you, or that there's something big, talk to someone. Don't let your demons beat you. Because, like I said, I've seen people at their weakest, and thank God I've never been through that dark period, but I've seen people who had thoughts of doing things that they later regretted, and thankfully they haven't done it. And again, as I said with Brian, I've seen him at his worst, but I know Brian has saw something that has pushed him to not doing what he would do. So I just wanted to let people, just I suppose it's more of a message than anything else. Just to be like, hey, you know what? Something just to sleep on. Just like, God, you're right. Because it's like everything, we all go through shit. You know? Nobody turns around and says, oh, I have a great life. No problems. I'm fucking king of the world. Something will bound to piss you off. And it could be either something small or it could be something big. But yeah, it's as you say, it is something that we don't talk enough, because it's not manly, it's not this. But I don't care. Jesus, if something's bothering you, fucking talk to somebody. Just talk to somebody who you trust. Because at the end of the day, if you went out to any ordinary Joe Soap and go, oh, I'm feeling bad, they might do, and that's the last thing you want. You want somebody who that you know either well, that you trust very well, whether it be family or friends, and you say, Jesus, something's after, pissing me off today. And they say, what is it? And you lay it all out. So, as I said, it goes to anyone. Just to, just think of that and put it into practice. But, you can't, as much advice as I like to give people, I always say this, it's you that has to do the hard work. You can take all the advice in the world and, Brian can, and obviously, the last thing I do when I'm talking to people, and I always say it because it's more so for me, because I feel myself, I'm trying to make it about me, which I don't, and I never wanted to make it about me. But I want to say this to Brian, and Brian obviously can back the statement up. I want to give advice to you, Brian, and that's why I always come to you. That's why I wanted you to be my protege, because I wanted to take you under some sort of like my wing, because I wanted to help you along your journey, whether it be something big or something small, whether it be your in-ring career, ring name, entrance music. I just want to be there to help you, because the way I look at it is I've done everything. I've wrestled, I've done everything. I've nothing else to do. I've made my career. So I want to pass that on to you. And I say that to everyone. Like, I want to bring on guys. I want to say, well, this is what I did. Or this is a cool move that I could have done that you could do. Something like that, And that's why I always like to give advice, you know, and help people. But I always say, it's not to make it about me. It's about how I can influence people and say, oh yeah, or this guy taught, this guy gave me this advice and gave me that advice, you know. Um, but yeah, just I think I haven't taken a book and stopped talking for like 10 minutes straight. But it's important. It's like I said, it's important that we speak about these things, you know.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
it's really
I was grabbing a snack, but yeah, I've kind of been remaining quiet because very serious conversation you're having. I know if I would have said something,
No, like
I would have been.
that's just
Yeah, no. I would have added on to what you're saying. Just a whole lot of nothing else I can add.
like I said. I just felt it important to say it out, because like I said, there are people today that are suffering from pretty bad shit, and I just felt that maybe something that I said could hopefully help them and say, "Look at this guy I listened to. He said, you know, he said some shit there that was probably like, yeah, you know what? Think I might, think I might just take his advice. Now, I will say this though, before we go, and I meant to say this too. If the chat has any questions to Brian in regards to his journey in wrestling, don't be afraid. Jesus, like, type something in there. If you've been listening to from the start, or if you just joined in, just don't be afraid. Ask questions, or even ask questions to myself or Ice. Or don't be afraid. We want you guys to be interacting as well as and try not to make it about the three of ourselves. If you have any questions, you know, and if you just joined, we're here with Premier One
man.
Brian Connors. Obviously, Brian is trying to make it in the business. He's doing good work in Fight Factory. So if you have any questions, folks, pile them in, fill the chat. We'll try to answer as much as we can, Um, and don't be, like I said, don't be afraid, just because no matter how, if you think it's a stupid question, just fire it, we'll answer it, because I think it's important that, people interact. And if you're afraid, that's fine too. Like we're not going to force you to say anything. But if you're in, I would say you're interested. But if you want to like ask a question that you're like, I'd like to ask a question, but I don't think it would be suitable, or just like fucking, or you don't like, I might be afraid. Just fire it out. We'll answer it. We want to, you know, see if people have any questions, fire them out. Um, But yeah, so as far as I know, Brian, is there anything else to speak about as well? Um, obviously you're still wrestling. Your journey is, well, you haven't been booked. Obviously just speak a small bit about the tournament. You say that you know you could like it's open. It's basically open for everybody, which technically means like okay. Let me ask you this question: how many people are on the active roster, like on the roster in Fight
Many to
Factory?
count.
Huh?
Too many to count.
So basically, Katie Harvey's got a
It's
lot of work.
anybody's game.
It's yeah, but it's like this. You know, I'm not obviously trying to be uh, the Kevin Sullivan here, the Booker man. I'd be like, but if you say everyone is it, then that means you know it's at least going to be if I get 64, 65 plus or just around that area. I could be wrong. You know, I remember actually didn't my memory serves me correct. Didn't they're obviously gone now, but remember at WCPW? Remember What Culture did
Oh
a wrestling
God,
company? They actually had
WCP.
they had a 64 man tournament, like a World Cup, and they finished it. They had 64, and everyone went, "Ah, here, lads, what the? Are you on drugs?" But they finished it.
I
I think your man
I'm
won it, didn't it? Zack Sabre Jr.
They spent way too much on known names instead of establishing themselves with like, indie wrestlers,
Yeah, I'd seen like you know at I suppose it was great at the start when they announced it, but I think they just wanted to I think they just wanted to what you call it dip their toe in and make new stars. I mean, they did. You
They
know, I
tried
mean,
to, and then they're like, you know what, Cody Rhodes, you know what, Alberto Del Rio, you know what, who else?
Rey Mysterio,
Rey Mysterio, Zack Saber
Kurt Angle.
Jr.
But in fairness, like they the way I mean, okay, you could look like that, but I do believe that they needed big power to get them notified. You know, and it's the same with like I said, it's the same with Fight Factory as well. You know,
What about
over the
DPW?
years at DPW, like I think DPW is doing great. They have a lot of big names
They
on
do.
the roster. Yeah, they have what you call it. Sure. Did you ever hear John the Grizzled Young Veterans? They just debuted and won a tournament or won a tournament to challenge for the DPW tag titles, I
All
think.
right.
So they've pretty big names, but it's the same with Fight Factory, and Brian can probably tell me more. Like, what big name? I mean, you'd what you call it as well, didn't you? Uh, back in Christmas, was a big name. Eric Rowan or Eric Redbeard.
Red Deer last Christmas.
Last Christmas, like you know, that definitely you know put asses in seats. The fact that like a former you know former WWE guy, obviously part of the White family, former NXT Tag Team Champion, former SmackDown Tag Team Champion, you know, and even did you Big Damo as well, I believe, hadn't you? I mean, Jesus, Big Damo he's big, or Killian Dane now I should call him.
I
But no,
don't
it's what I'm
I
saying, big,
don't
big.
want to be a Debbie Downer, but none of those guys were world champions in like the WWE.
No,
That
but no. Go on.
therefore, therefore, they probably aren't as expensive. There, I said it.
I don't know.
Okay,
I like.
fair point. You know what? You win. I'll be honest. I'm very non-confrontational. I try to be antagonistic as a work.
Mm,
So yeah,
that's the work, brother. Shoot.
shoot, work, work, shoot. You know, I didn't expect that much, star power, Eric Rowan, Redbeard, whatever the hell. I thought he was in
Yeah.
AEW, to be honest.
I think it was only their account of Brody Lee passing, and then obviously Bray passing. Then, so he was back with WWE. Uh,
Dang. It's so
you know,
sad.
oh, it's Jesus.
It's like,
It's
honestly, when I heard the news that Bray passed, I thought it was a work.
you know what I think a lot of people wish they did. I mean, I I will say this: it's probably, okay, Brody Lee's death was like, I mean, that was big. Like, I even remember listening to him on New Legacy Inc. And within like a few weeks or a month or so, he died. I was like, holy shit, this is like, he only wrestled like a couple of months ago, and he wrestled in a great match, a dog collar match for the TNT title against Cody Rhodes, and it was fucking good. And the same with Bray. I saw Bray wrestle. I was watching it live in my neighbor's house. Um, he wrestled LA Knight, yeah, in a lights out match or whatever you call it, and it was shit. Fucking a pitch black match. It was shit. It
The
was the
Mountain Dew
worst.
pitch black match.
Yeah,
Oh
it
God.
sucked. It was so bad. It was like made no sense. And then you had fucking what's his name?
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy just falling. It's just a mess. And I shat on it. It's so bad, And then I basically said like Bray had to leave the WWE because, he wasn't as great as he used to be. And then a whole few months later, he's dead. And it's like, holy shit. What the hell? He was supposed to even wrestle at Mania against Bobby Lashley, but it didn't happen. And now it's like, oh my god, this guy is, he's this guy who's literally like, I would even go on a limb and say this guy, for our era, obviously our era was like, 2005 and all that. But I don't remember Eddie Guerrero's death because obviously I just got into it. But what I will say is this: I now know why Eddie Guerrero's death was so impactful. Because when you look at Bray Wyatt's death and you say, holy shit, this guy is like 36 years of age. Like, he's so young. Eddie Guerrero was 38. He was so young. And even when Terry Funk died the same week, I think he actually died the day before or 2 days before. It's like, oh my god, what the hell's happening here? So it's a huge loss. It's very and like I said, we speak about mental health again. If you're a massive Bray Wyatt fan, I mean, who wasn't? Bray Wyatt was arguably one of the greatest creative minds ever. The fact that and the fact that they didn't push the boat or stick a rocket up his arse and go, off you go, son, or give him creative and just the way his promos were, he was just so good, and then he came back. I don't know, did they get rid of him? Yeah, they did. Did they?
What?
Oh yeah, they got rid of him. No, sorry, yeah, no. They gave him the Fiend character. It was fucking brilliant. And then they fired him. And then they brought him back. And then it was like, oh, okay. But still, it's the moral of the story is that, when a wrestler's death is so premature, it really does, take its toll on the mental health.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think, Brian, you can kind of, obviously, as much as I do, you know how the body can take, when the body, like, the business, we all know the business, it takes its toll on your body, and there's a time where you just be like, but sometimes you just be like, I'll go for it, or sometimes you just give it up because you can't take too much of it, but let me obviously just speak to yourself about it. You've taken the bumps, you've taken the hits and the suplexes and the whole lot. How has your body taken these bumps?
My mic was fucking muted.
I hope you were
Yeah.
hearing everything we were saying.
I heard everything you said, and to answer your question,
yeah.
my body feels stiff as shit after, but it's worth it.
But there you go. You know, and it's true. Like here's okay. I'm not obviously trying to. I'm not trying to toot, but I'm not trying to talk to Katie Harvey or anything. But I was saying, like, if if you were to be in this tournament, you'd be in this tournament with a lot of great wrestlers, all fighting for a golden opportunity at the Irish Junior Heavyweight title. But say if you were to be put into it, the way you could look is goes, it was fucking worth it. All the heartaches, all the times you weren't booked, the injury you had, like I said, you've got a new name now. You even got you've got your team, which obviously we're still trying to get. But you have a team for the time being. You have an entrance. All these small pieces are starting to become a big jigsaw puzzle. You know, um, but as you say, like if you were to be put in this tournament, definitely one of the highlights of your career. But would you agree in this? And I'm obviously not trying to, boost your ego. But I will say this: if you were to be put in this tournament and just say, okay, either you lost in the first round or the second round or whatever, would you look at that and say, it's not going to end here? This is just the start. This is just the beginning of the Premier One Brian Connors.
It's getting later in Ireland. Unfortunately, I'd be working 6 o'clock. But to answer your question, look, if I was in the tournament and I lost in the first round, I wouldn't care. For the main reason, I got a chance to potentially become Irish Junior Heavyweight Champion or become no working champion. So I wouldn't have cared.
Right. Would you? Okay. So obviously, it wouldn't bother you if you were never to be booked again. Obviously, you'd like to be. But would you
If I
not
got
look
into
at?
the first round, if I got into the first round, it would give me more confidence to keep going.
Yeah. But obviously, as you said, you need to get in the training, you need to get in the whole lot. But it's like everything, at least you can, you could look at this and say to yourself, okay, I'm in this tournament. I'm going to prove that everything that I've been taught by mentors, trainers, coaches, whatnot, you're going to put all that into practice and go, let's give this a good shot. Just fucking prove what I can, you know. And from here now, like you can say, what it's October now. The tournament is the first tournament is on the 11th of November. So if you go to these training shows or your show, the training sessions, you could prove to them going, this guy wants it. Let's see how he gets on. So, I would definitely be, if it was me, I'd definitely be like, let's give this a crack. I'm in the tournament, and say if I lost, I'd be on the going, fuck it, let it not end here. This just could be the first milestone, you know. Just and even like to be involved in, to be involved in a tournament to get a shot at the title is big. Like that championship is a coveted championship. It has a lineage dating back to 2005. Am I right? So think of all the list of names, and like Jordan Devlin, Finn Balor, all in WWE now. Fabio, LJ Cleary, who's in Noah. You know, it's you can see like I see people winning the belt. And it's not like it's to me. I don't think it's for show. I don't think it's like, oh, I win, yay! People believe. I do believe people are kind of like, oh my god, I'm the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. This belt or championship was held by some of the greatest Irish wrestlers, and I would say, people from around the world as well. That have held this title. So, like you said, you could be the next LJ Cleary, you could be the next Finn Balor, but I know you don't want to be them. I know you want to be the first Brian Connors. So, the way I look at it, go for it. Jesus, let this be the measuring stick. Um, so it's it's a huge step.
And with that, we're reaching 2 hours. I don't want to hold you guys up on anything. Don't want you to like stay
Yeah, no,
longer
that's
than you
are
want
we
to.
are we doing more universe mode or is that it for the night?
I think that'll be it for the night.
I'd hate to go in, but I am officially going to have to sign off because I unfortunately have to be at work at 6 in the morning.
Well, that's
no
kind of
problem.
what we were getting to. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say we've
Yeah, but look,
Yeah. All right.
gentlemen, all I say is, as usual, thanks for having me on. Hopefully we'll do this again in the future. God knows when I'm fucking available. When you're available. And fucking stars align and fucking solar eclipses and all that. But until then, best of luck, good luck, and see you again.
Have a good night.
Thanks very much, Brian. Have a good one.
Not about it.
Thanks.
So anyway, John, before we end things off here, I just something that I didn't want to like interrupt about Brian's story. I mentioned
that's
at the
fine.
start that I've been in collusion, concentration with like an artist. Get the channel all set up. They sent me that picture that I just sent to you. It's not colored in, but
Oh wow.
main add image. Browser
That's
source would be a good one, I guess.
wow, that's very
And
good.
copy link, paste link, enter. And yeah, I've been doing some stuff behind the scenes and all that. They sent me this. I've paid them a good amount. Originally it started off as like a new like VTuber model type thing, and they offered backgrounds and stuff. And I told them, since this channel is basically wrestling focused, let's have this kind of wrestling commentary podcast table going on. And they sent me this, and it's just wonderful, John. I may need you to do a green screen pose, if at all possible.
You know what? I'll type. I'll message you what I think I'll say. I won't say it out.
Of course. Friggin' won't reveal it to the
There you go.
public.
No, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. Keep it.
Friggin'
Is that what you mean by the green screen? What I was just saying.
No. That's friggin' anime, friggin' John, you biscuit.
Oh, I know that.
Anime me, going around with this friggin' AI generated thing, and now I'm having someone draw me, for us, forever.
So obviously a green screen of Johnny Drop Toe Hold. They can draw me into it. That's, you know what? I like that.
I mean, I don't want to bother them. It's been like a rough time with my wallet, Speaking of money and me, donate to the Patreon. Give me your money right freaking now, please. I'll use
you actually
the money
have it up there already.
to better the channel of what? The image? Yeah.
Yeah, you have the image. It's like, well, there you go. I thought you like, I won't show them. And then it's like, actually, I will show them. But there you go. That is one.
I just wanted to post that for you to see so you don't have to look back on the stream to see it.
Oh, fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And I kind of don't want to like talk about it and not have people, and I was like very hesitant because I haven't like asked permission to do that, but I'm paying for this. I want to show the progress they've made so far. I've been
Of course.
like in contact with someone for a good month or two, and they offered, hey,
Okay.
I could help you out with like modeling stuff because I'm I may be a jack of all trades, but I'm not a master of art like this. So
Yeah.
I'm good at at image editing and cropping out stuff here and there, which is why I asked for a green screen photo of you, John, so I can put you in there, and it'll be like that. Yeah, and it'll be funny because I'm a friggin' anime and you're just a real life picture of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a green screen, but I can. If you have like a green screen, I could do a picture, or you could take a picture of myself.
Just have. Do you not have a blanket, John, that's just one color?
No, don't think so.
Poor,
I'm poor.
disheveled, loser, skill issue, chomp, nerd. I have a friggin' blanket that's just straight up maroon that would work if
Hmm.
I didn't have red be my color. But,
Wait.
I've got a
On.
green blanket.
Wait.
What?
So here's the thing. If okay, so do you know on Discord they have like backgrounds.
Yeah.
There could be a green screen on that.
What? What?
Do you know, like, do you remember years ago we used to do those video calls
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah,
Discord,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I used to have like different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Unless if there's a green screen on that, that would be helpful.
Oh, yeah, you just put on a green screen. You sit down, you get into position. I take a screenshot and I put you in there, and it'll be really funny.
It just be so like. Is there a way I should do it? Like, should I just stand, sit there and smile, or just?
Uh, sit there and smile, stay in the same position. Maybe open your mouth, or something. We'll work on it as the whole art scene develops, but yeah, this is kind of what I've been talking about in the beginning.
Okay.
They made like emotes and stuff,
Ooh.
and they're planning on emailing me like full on like everything, you know.
Well, I tell you what, I'm looking forward to that.
All
But sure,
right.
when you want it, I can. You know.
I mean, I could ask them to make you, but I'm American, John. You're Irish. It kind of yeah, that kind of would affect money and stuff.
Of course,
And
yeah. No, that's fine. We'll do it that way. If I have a green screen on the video thing, I could take a, I
if
could
you
take
want
a.
to contact them and ask them, hey, I know a guy who's like working for you, and use your own money because I'm not paying extra for you, John.
Oh no, I don't expect you to. No, what I do is I could just get the green
This is
screen
why
on
I'm
the
asking you to
Discord.
do a green screen.
Yeah, I could try to do that. I could do it on the Discord thing. If there's a green screen there, or sure to God, there'll be something that they can use.
Yeah.
You know. But. But anywho, are we gonna do some I'm up for Universe tomorrow. If you want to do it.
Tomorrow? Yeah, yeah, tomorrow. I just,
Um.
we've been like doing this for 4 hours right now,
Oh
so.
yeah. I will say
I
this. I will say this though. I'm not available the weekend.
okay.
Um. So I
Yeah,
could
no.
do. I could do some
We
tomorrow.
if we're able to. Today's today. Today's Wednesday. That would.
Yeah.
I still need to edit the episodes 29 and 30.
30.
So, yeah, I'm going to go edit those now, and if we can do 31 and TLC tomorrow and then
Mm.
32 and 33 Friday, that should be good enough.
Yeah, now I won't be able to do Friday.
Not
But
Friday.
not Friday or the weekend. But if I'm on a day off next week, whatever day it
Okay,
is,
so
I can. I'll
Thursday
try
we'll
it. I'll let
do
you know.
31 in TLC. Then.
Perfect. And then
All right.
that should be good for us.
All right.
All right.
You heard it
Well,
here, ladies
folks.
and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's the official
I-
horse racing podcast updates. Your boy Brian was here. Wonderful conversations about everything. We showed some stuff.
Indeed.
We said some stuff.
We
Go
said some things.
get a therapist.
Yes.
And
Is anyone bothering you? Go
huh?
get help.
Me? No.
No,
Nah,
anyone. Listeners.
Yeah, go get help. I'm here for you. Please, we can game it out. We can have fun. Please, for the love of God, I'm so lonely. And
That's
I
why I'm
want to
here.
be there for you. Not you, John. You get yourself a gaming PC.
Oh God, no.
I'm sorry, John.
I
I
know.
know we're
I know
talking
you're
about
really
a
joking.
serious topic, but
No, I know you're joking.
that's kind of why I was like quiet most of the time. That and I
Yeah.
was like lifting this 30-pound dumbbell while you guys were talking, doing some push-ups. As I said before, I was actually doing that.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you panting. But keep at it. And who knows? You could be in the ring too with Brian. Well, not with Brian, but like Brian. You know.
I could be a natural talent, John. I could be a
You
natural talent.
you know. Look at Chris Danger. Chris Danger started off as a YouTuber and now was well. Unfortunately, Adam Cole was injured, but Adam Cole and himself were supposed to have a match at DPW, his very first match. So who knows? You could be the local madman, and you have your actual name.
Nah, John. I've already got the perfect gimmick. You see, John? I'm not a star. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not some generational gap of wrestlers. I'm not famous, John. Nobody knows me. No one knows who I am. You know what that makes me? It makes me nobody, but it'll make me no one when I'm like in the big leagues. That's my indie names. You look at me, you say, "Hey, it's that guy. What's his name?" It's a nobody.
It's a oh no, it's remember Jim Neidhart used to have a gimmick called Who. It was
Who?
like Who
What?
question mark? Yeah. So Jim Neidhart dressed up as a guy in a mask back in the 90s, and his name was Who. It was like HOW question mark.
Nah, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
not
there
a
you go.
mask, but it'll be me, but no one knows who I am. From parts
Who the-
unknown, Wayne, who cares, standing taller than you. Nobody.
Nobody. Absolutely nobody.
There is nobody out there that can beat me. My music hits.
It's like, oh no. Rob Van Dam.
There ain't no one in the
What
WWE. I have been champion for 1,500 days, and there is no one in that locker room that can beat me.
Oh my god, it's who?
It's no one. No one's there.
And then you really get to the big leagues, and then you just hear Char. Well, fans, I have no idea who this man is. I have literally never seen this man in my entire life. I have no idea what he's doing, but apparently he's coming towards the ring and he's gonna cut a promo, and I have to go and fucking do it. Oh my god, this is going to be worse than that time I heard it. The shit cut a promo. Oh, Jesus. That was just shit. Boom, boom. By God. God is my witness. It's, who the fuck is it? Can somebody tell me? It's unknown. Oh, what? It's Bobby Lashley?
Yeah.
So
Alright.
yeah, well folks, I think that's a wrap. We're gonna head on out of here.
Yeah,
We'll be
right.
back tomorrow with more
we'll-
universe mode. But
And hopefully
let's
we'll
raid
reach the
somebody.
TLC. Let's raid someone. I don't
Melon.
have that many. Yeah, that's the only one on my
Chloe.
list. Let's go.
Yeah, same.
Bada bing.
Let's go.
Bada boom. Let's get this
Go on over to Chloe.
train wreck rolling.
Indeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Be nice, be respectful, and of
we'll
course,
see ya.
and we'll
when
see
we'll
ya
see ya.
when we'll see ya.
Ah.